Writing musical theater songs with a pop song structure doesn't work quite the way you probably think it does. Sure, the general structures behind it are the same. Some version of verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, sometimes with or without pre-choruses, or more verses and more choruses, something like that. And a lot of writers seem to think that just because that is a familiar structure to both writers and to the audience, that makes it easier to write into a musical. But nope, often it's harder. But that's because you may be missing two critical ingredients. So let's make sure that you're not making those same mistakes when you are using this form in your own musical theater writing work. Now let's quickly just define here what verse and chorus and pre-chorus and bridge mean in terms of a pop song structure, which is different from the way I defined things in the first video in this 4-part series, which was about the 32-bar chorus. Head back there to see the difference in the different types of structure definition. Here, for a pop song, the chorus is the thing that is your refrain. Oftentimes it comes back exact every single time. It's the thing we all sing along to. It has the hook, the main idea of the song, the title of the song usually, but it's almost always exactly the same every time it comes back. Your verse material is material that is essentially the same every time you hear it, but the words are completely different. It doesn't have the hook, may not be the catchiest part of the song, but it adds more info, has kind of poetic language often to it. Your pre-chorus bridges the gap between the verse and the chorus. Takes you from the versey material, which is going to change a lot, through the build into the chorus itself. Kind of leads you to the thing that is the refrain and does it in a way that has a build to it. Bridges the gap, which is different from a bridge. A bridge in this structure provides us something new and refreshing and different, very similar to the way a B section works in AABA. It's some sort of break for the ear in the music and the lyric. But let's talk about the difference between pop and musical theater pop in this structure. Pop can be quite flowy and a little imprecise in its scansion and its rhyme schemes, whereas musical theater pop is still musical theater at the end of the day. So we do want proper scansion and we do want a rhyme scheme that is at least consistent, if nothing else. Musical theater pop needs to utilize its verses very smartly and very well. You still have to set up the idea of the song, even if you're not starting with a chorus. You have to give us a sense of what the song is, where it's going, create an argument, add to the argument or to the game that we're playing long before we hit the chorus itself, because we usually don't start with choruses. We can, but we usually don't. Pop music doesn't have to be so precise and so useful in its verses. Sometimes it's just flowery, flowy language that we all really like a lot. Pop can also be very abstract or environmental or mysterious, but in musical theater, clarity is always the answer. So we can't quite do that with musical theater pop, or people will look at you like, huh? What's your song about? What? And in a good pop song structure in a musical theater sense, we still do need all of the layers to work together. The mechanical, the core layer, the lyric layer, and the music layer. They all still have to work cohesively. And if they aren't, well, then maybe back to the drawing board or choose a different structure. Now, when it comes to the pre-chorus idea, there are a couple differences here as well, but it's mostly gonna be the same between standard pop and musical theater pop. The main thing we wanna do here is build tension as we lead from verse to chorus and make it so it is so satisfying to land at the chorus. It feels inevitable, and we want it, we're begging for it. The major difference here though is that in musical theater pop, we also have to lyrically bridge the gap between the verse and the chorus. It can't just be, oh look, a build. It's gotta be a build with purpose, with intention. Always with intention when we're writing for musical theater. So this means that those of you who are like, wait, it's a pre-chorus, just like copy paste. Nope, not in a musical. If you do that in a musical, it's wasted space. Stop wasting space. And the reason we don't wanna waste space is because the pre-chorus is just as useful as the verse to continue plot movement and or character development. That is wonderful space. Use it. Now when it comes to the chorus itself, we are going to have a pretty similar structure and purpose to regular pop songs, but we can't, again, copy and paste. That's not going to be terribly useful to your audience. So how do we solve that? I will say with a caveat here that you can use copy paste if it's like a celebration song with an ensemble singing. Perhaps we do want to hear the exact same refrain every time. There are cases where that is useful. But a lot of the time we want to still have our chorus material come back the same musically every time, but have the lyrics be different, or at least slightly different. Now what's gonna stay the same lyrically will be the hook. We always want the hook to be in the chorus, that's where it lives, and we do want the hook to be the same. But all the other space in your chorus has a little more flexibility. You can change the words. because I guarantee you after you do one chorus, you're gonna go to a different verse place that's going to continue plot, continue character development, into a pre-chorus that does more of that too as we build back to the chorus idea. So the second time we get the chorus, things have changed. It doesn't make sense to copy and paste the exact same words. Give me something more, give me something different that still hits on the same hook idea and gives us that catchy tune that we all love in a pop verse-chorus structure. Now, some people will say here that without copy-paste, it makes it less singable for your audience. They're not gonna go to the bathroom knowing the exact words that were just sung, or they're not gonna listen to the cast album once and then know the song. True, this is true. But give them 2 listens or 3. They'll be fine. And they will go to the bathroom singing your hook, most likely. And perhaps they did pick up on lyrics. Who's to say? By the way, if you've not tried this yet, writing the musical theater version of the pop song structure, this is one of the song challenges we do in the Flagship musical theater writing course. So if you want to give it a go, along with writing the other structures we've talked about, then make sure to click the link in the description below to look at what that course looks like and see if it feels right for you. And if it possibly does, go ahead and apply. No risk, no obligation. And perhaps I'll see you in the next cohort. Now, when it comes to the bridge, pop songs and musical theater pop songs pretty much do the same thing here. You know how we talked about the B section AABA needing to present something fresh, a new perspective, a counter argument? That's what we're gonna do here as well. Now, in a standard pop song, they may not bring up other viewpoints here in the bridge, might just use it to refresh the ear with different music and a different feel for a second before heading back into the song. But why use that space for just that when in musical theater pop, you can also add a new perspective or counter argument? Makes it very useful. As you can see, this is an effective song structure to utilize when utilized well. If you don't copy paste, it's actually quite great. You get a lot of space. Also, not for nothing, it is such a familiar song form. Most pop music uses verse chorus song form. Therefore, audiences know it super well, and that is useful for you as a writer. I will also say that these songs tend to be a lot easier to pull out of their context and to do in a cabaret setting or a concert without having to explain a lot of stuff. But if you are writing well for character development and plot movement, then it still can be tricky to pull out of context, but it's less tricky than something that's like a macro AABA or a 32-bar ABAB. But as always, here's the warning. These songs can get boring and repetitive fast, especially if you do a little bit of copy and paste, because the audience doesn't get anything new. So they sit there thinking, oh yeah, okay, more of that. Okay, so what time is it? When's intermission? What are we doing after the show? We don't want that. These songs also tend to be written vertically instead of horizontally in their composition style. And if you don't know what I mean by that, just book a call and ask me, or come take one of the courses, because we'll talk about it. It's not necessarily worse to write vertically, but it can be a lot less interesting for development. One of the other major traps here is it can sound generic pretty fast because these rely oftentimes on chord progressions. 4-chord progressions are very common and they sound a little bland, a little generic. And we want things that are very unique and specific to you. And even though to write a good musical theater pop song, you do need all 4 layers to work together, it is a little harder to make them all work together in this structure. It's doable, but you have to really stay on target to make that happen. So I don't necessarily think they're easier structures at the end of the day, even though a lot of people would argue that they are. But to each their own. Now, the next obvious question here would be, where are these particular song structures utilized well in a musical? Where do you use a pop song structure? So if you'd like to know more about that, then you should watch this video next. Otherwise, thank you all for being here with me today, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers!